We're back. Hello, everyone. My name is Darryl Kinsey Jr. That's Christopher Lehman right there. And welcome to episode 2 of the brand new Apex to Asphalt. Thank you so much for joining us, Chris. Welcome back. And now that I can see you virtually, congratulations on the new kid, man. How's it going?
Thank you. It's going great. I'm glad to be back.
So we got a lot to talk about. The Rolex 24 is over. The CookOut Clash at Bowman Gray is coming, whether or not we have snow or not. And there's a lot of goings on in the Formula One world. We're going to get to all of that, but we got to pay some bills first. We'll be right back after this.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And we're back on Apex to Asphalt, the new era of motorsports podcast here on IE Sports Radio. Darryl Kinsey Jr., Christopher Lehman here. We're ready to get started. And Chris, this is the first time getting to talk to you on the show this year. So how was, other than the obvious, how was your time away during our off season?
It was really good. It feels pretty short. It feels like we only got like a month. But no, it's good. I've made peace with Lando Norris, world champion. I have not made peace with, this is Zach Brown from McLaren Racing.
God, that was awful. That was such a dad joke.
Oh, that's the worst thing ever. But no, I'm just looking cautiously optimistic for 2026. So hopefully it's a fun year for Formula One and NASCAR. It's a new season for Bowman Nation over here. So, yeah, just cautiously optimistic for this year. A lot of things go bad.
Yeah, I mean, NASCAR actually got some things right, and we'll talk about that when we get to the NASCAR section. There's a lot we got to get caught up with, because I didn't get to talk to you last week about all of it, but we will start in the realm of Formula One, where allegedly there's a shakedown going on in in Barcelona.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know it with how they basically tightened that place down like Area 51. I think it was either Racer or Motorsports that tried to hang out and get some spy shots. It got basically hounded by Spanish police all day.
Yep.
They're trying to keep this thing a secret, except for the little bits and pieces we get out about timings and everything. But there's a reason for it, and it's mainly because the Bahrain Grand Prix circuit in the country of Bahrain paid a lot of money to be the first official test site and the only official test site for Formula One.
Yep. Yeah, I was rather shocked that it's been so controlled.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought they would be trying to get as many cameras out there as possible, really. So it's a bit shocking, but we are getting a lot of information through it. So at least it's not, completely closed off. But I mean, we say this every year going into preseason testing. Don't believe anything you see until Q1 of, I would say the opening. It used to be Bahrain, but now it's going to be Australia. Yeah. So everything that happens in preseason testing, I just forget about. Except for
I would say not even
just
till Q3.
Yeah.
Well, Q1 for everybody, but really Q3 for the guys that we think are going to be championship contenders. Because even in those first 3 practices, it's just 2 more test days, basically.
Yep.
But the main things that we've seen, not a lot of running today. Only 2 cars went out. Unfortunately, Isaac Hadjar put his car in the wall. The Red Bull, unfortunately, crashed for the first time. And the damage is so significant, they may not run anymore during the shakedown week just because the car is so new and they don't have a lot of spares. I think that means these cars are going to be hard to handle, which is a good thing for all of us. Hopefully, this is not the curse of the Red Bull second seat again.
I don't want to. It's too early in the season, Darryl. The season hasn't even started yet. I do not want to talk about this.
What?
I don't know. I'm kind of PO'd. Just because, it's Max's season 2.
Yeah, and you need all the running you can get right now. These cars are brand spanking new, so it really hurts when you have an issue in testing. A couple of teams, though, only 7 teams went down to run in the shakedown. One of those teams that did not make it was Williams, and they had an issue, and Aston Martin also had this issue with passing the FIA mandated crash tests, which I think every time we have a rules change, there's a team or 2 that fails the crash test. So I don't think it's that newsworthy. But I think the newsworthiness part with Williams is that we thought they were setting up for a great 2026, and then they come in, have this issue, and as we have written here from Soy Motor, which is a reliable source of information on Williams there on social media, they had to put extra 45 pounds on the car to meet the crash structure test, which has put the car significantly overweight. That's going to be a problem.
That's like his second lap.
Yeah.
Thank you, Larry. And I think there are worse than Ferrari right now, going back to his previous comment. Williams.
I mean, at least Ferrari got their car started.
Yeah. How do you feel about the livery?
I think the conversation about it is overblown. I don't understand the complaining about the HP logo. They're paying a lot of money to be Ferrari's title sponsor. They're gonna have the blue logo on the car. That's just how it's gonna be. Yep. They've added the white space to kind of throw back to the 2016 car.
I like that. It breaks it up a little bit.
I like that. That got a lot of blowback from other people in Ferrari spaces, and I was surprised.
Larry, I'm a Bengals fan, so I'm there with you.
I mean, I'm a Commanders fan. We saw how that went this year. I'm a Commanders, Nationals, Capitals fan.
Though, at least you guys are going to have a nice new stadium to be disappointed in. Just like Larry. Larry, you guys have a nice new stadium to be disappointed in. Do you know what we have? A 1985 old POS stadium and the worst owners in football. We can all cry together. Yeah, you guys are going to have indoor stadiums. Our tears are going to freeze to our cheeks.
Yeah. That thing does look nice. If you've seen the renders, I'm pretty sure they've talked about it on 3 and Out. That Commanders Stadium is going to be great. Maybe a good place to have a future IndyCar race around. We'll talk about that later.
Did they talk about that?
We'll talk about it briefly. I live just outside of DC, and I have opinions on how that is just not going to work.
I was going to say, people don't say I have opinions and then go on to say something good.
We'll talk about it later.
Oh, Larry did talk about the new stadium.
Yeah. It is beautiful. But I will say, though, seeing the new cars on track, a lot of people mention it does harken back to the mid-2000s size with the V10 era. And I will say, Formula One cars may not race well, but they are so pretty sometimes.
Yeah. I'm going to throw it back to Larry one more time with the football thing. 3 and Out, Larry, I look forward to hearing to what you guys have to say about Joe Brady being promoted to head coach of the Bills. I'm not a Bills fan, but I live in Bills country, so I'm curious to hear what you have to think, especially because I don't think he's quite had the same success that he did, obviously back with Joe Burrow at LSU. I don't think his success has translated to the NFL. But that's a discussion for a different show.
Yeah, that whole thing is a Ferrari-level catastrophe right now. And who knows what they're going to be able to do, what either side is going to do.
Larry has opinions.
Yes. So we're coming into with Formula One. We've seen some of the liveries. We mentioned Ferrari. Shout out to Red Bull for actually getting into the hex code and changing the blue a little bit.
I love it. And they brought back the white detailing on the Red Bull logo. Oh, yes. That Red Bull car pops.
I can't wait to see that car at night.
I know.
That thing's going to be gorgeous at night.
I need to see more images of the numbers, like how they changed the number font. I think maybe I'm okay with it, but it's also sucks that I have so much max gear that is numbered 33 and 1. So now I just gotta buy more stuff, I guess.
Oh yeah, because he changed his number. Well, now you can complete the set.
Yeah, maybe next year we can go back to 1, and this year is just a mulligan.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how Formula One goes. We'll have more when the official tests get started in February ahead of the the Australian Grand Prix to start the season in March in the new era of Formula One. And sticking with open wheel briefly before we go to break, there's been a lot of conversation in the IndyCar spaces about a potential race in August in Washington, D.C. Certain members of, how do I say this politely? The federal administration, we'll use that, really want an IndyCar race in D.C. for America's 250th birthday. Here is the problem with that. They want to have the race around the National Mall complex. It is literally illegal for them to do that because you are not allowed to you're not allowed to advertise private companies at federal parks. That is what the National Mall is. And a motor race is a giant advertisement for a bunch of companies. We know that. The other issue, as somebody that goes down to that area on a yearly basis, I don't know where the hell they think they're going to put a racetrack on those roads. There is nothing down there wide enough to handle a street race. And taking the cars next to the White House, the Secret Service is crying at the thought of what security measures are going to have to be in place if that race goes ahead, which it's not going to because it is January and they want to have a street race in August. That ain't happening.
They would almost have to very publicly get all leadership figures out of the city to just deter anything and just be very public about it. That would really be the only way to safely do it. But going back to what you said about the legality of advertising and public properties and all that, doesn't seem like a great idea.
No. We'll have to get Freddie B on here when we get closer to the IndyCar season. We'll have him on our IndyCar Insider to discuss this. But as much as I would like to have a street race in DC, and I've wanted that for years and years and years, I don't think people realize just how small of a city DC is. There are very few large streets in DC, and there's a lot of people that work in that federal district around the National Mall. You will paralyze the city if you have to shut it down, those roads, for the 2 months it would take to put together a street race down there. Nobody is moving in the city. That's how bad traffic would be before, during, and after this race. And not only that, all the teams have locked in their travel budgets for this year. It's not that easy to try to get an extra race worth of sponsorship out of your sponsor, an extra hotel in DC, not to mention where you're going to put the trucks and everything. It's not going to have, you're not going to park it on the Park Service's grass. I can tell you that much. So I don't know how this is going to work.
Yeah. I think there are better options you could do.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't quite be America 250, but I don't know. I think that IndyCar, it's just very concentrated, which
Yeah, this is sportsleaguesmaps.com. This is a map of where all the IndyCar races are, and it's a lot of right now it's a lot of Midwest and a lot of West Coast.
But look, there's so much potential for, you know what I mean? You got COTA.
Mm-hmm. Which they used to race at. I don't know why we stopped. Well, yeah. They are going back to, they moved the race from COTA. They're going to have a street race in Houston.
That's true. So we get to move one. But, I mean, what about a street race in, like, Denver? Hit that big open part of the map right dead center.
That has been on the cards, and Denver is a previous race site for what was Champ Car at the time.
Yeah. But there's just, even DC is really not that far from where they already are. So I just think that they could do a better job if they wanted to move somewhere else or put another race in. I think they could do a better job distributing themselves a little bit better throughout the country.
Yeah, Larry mentioned racing at San Diego. NASCAR will be there later this year. That's going to be a lot of fun, racing around the Coronado Naval Base. But the East Coast, other than Florida, is just empty when it comes to IndyCar, particularly the Northeast. They tried to race at Pocono, but people couldn't figure out the tunnel turn, and somehow the turn modeled after Indianapolis is too dangerous for them to race at, which
it's because there's only one.
If that's the case, why the hell are we racing in Indy?
Yeah.
They used to race at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That went away due to lack of attendance. IndyCar and Watkins Glen used to be a race for a while, but there was a lot of beef between the two on advertising, and that went away. They got to find a way back into the Northeast, because that used to be their little IndyCar stronghold away from NASCAR before the split and everything. And now
I was gonna say,
there's
NASCAR
just nothing
really shuns
here.
The Northeast.
Yeah.
We've got Loudon, which sucks. Watkins Glen, which is arguably the best track in the world. No bias there.
Completely no bias, right?
And then Pocono, which also sucks.
I mean, Pocono was great for IndyCar, except for, We killed a guy and then almost killed another guy, so that kind of ended us racing there.
I got an idea.
Mm-hmm.
The IndyCar, let's call it a 400 at Bowman Gray.
Jesus. I would love to see that just to see the chaos. Because good luck trying to get through traffic with these cars at Bowman Gray.
I don't think anybody would finish.
No. They were supposed to race in Richmond.
That'd be interesting.
In 2020. They raced there before in the 90s. Then they went away. It was supposed to come back in 2020. Because of the pandemic, that did not happen, and they never rescheduled the race. I would like to see that again. Kind of biased because it's only 90 minutes down my way. Also, IndyCar once raced at Dover, if you can believe that, back when it was the IRL.
I could see that. I could actually see that being good.
I would love to see that again, but man, the speeds there would be an issue, I think, with modern cars.
Scary. What about running the Roval?
I mean, NASCAR's not going to run it anymore, so I would love to see them take to the Roval.
I'm bummed about that. I am
too.
I got 2 Roval wins on the shelf behind me.
Well, a lot of Shane Van Gisbergen fans are also going to be bummed about it.
Yeah.
But just to wrap it up, yes, IndyCar needs some more markets to race in. Going to DC would be great, but realistically, it's not going to be a thing. But hey, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into the twice around the clock classic that is the Rolex 24 and the fog caution that set an unfortunate record. We'll talk about that on the other side of this break here on the Extra Mile on Apex to Asphalt, coining the swear jar. We'll be right back after this.
What's up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
We're back on Apex to Asphalt. Darryl Kinsey Jr. and Christopher Lehman are here with you. Let's take another turn. We'll head into the start of the IMSA season with the Rolex 24 that went down this weekend. This is a track that, in an event that I got to go to last year. And like I said last year, I think it's one of those races that is physically incapable of putting on a bad event just because of the prestige around it at this point. And we had another banger finish in two classes, GTD and GTP, that we'll get to in a moment. But there was an unfortunate highlight in the overnight hours. Larry, who was watching for most of the time, and I was as well in between coverage for my job, because we had the big snowstorm that came down here. So I was on call as an essential worker this time because of how serious the storm was. But during the nighttime hours, the fog rolled in at Daytona, and it sat down on that track to the tune of a 6-hour, 30-minute caution, some 120 laps due to poor visibility, a record for the longest caution in Rolex 24 history. And for the guys that only get their time running in the nighttime hours of the race, that had to suck to do their entire stint behind the safety car.
Connor Zillich, right?
Yeah, Connor did a 4-hour stint behind the safety car and then got out.
That's infuriating.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't discourage people.
It's been a weird time for weather at the Rolex 24 because last year it was cold as crap.
Yep.
Being out there, I will tell y'all something from being there last year. Florida 30 degrees does not feel like up here 30 degrees.
What do you mean?
Or not 30 degrees. It was like 50 degrees at night that evening of the 2025 Rolex 24. It doesn't feel like 50 degrees up here because it was cold out there. It felt like up here 30 degrees. I guess it's because everything's more spread out down there and it's not an urban area, so the heat doesn't sit down or something. But it is, at that track at night, it is bone chilling if you're not prepared for it.
We have not seen double-digit temperatures since last week here.
Yikes.
So I know a thing or two about cold.
It's been
Yeah, but you're right, though. Like down south, because it's just so warm in the day, cold does feel, or like nighttime does feel cold. But up here, it's just cold during the day and then cold at night. So you just don't really notice the difference.
But once we got through the cold or through the fall caution, we got back racing in the morning. And then around about 9-10 o'clock, the fog started to roll back in. And I'm surprised we didn't get another caution because it got as bad, I think, as it did during the night. But they were able to keep it green for most of the rest of the way. And we got into a great battle between Felipe Nasser in the number 7 Penske Porsche GTP and the Cadillac for Whelen Cadillac driven by Jack Aitken. In about 10 minutes left, Aitken had his one good opportunity to try to get around Nasser. And Nasser just slammed the door going into turn number 1. Aitken did the right thing by lifting and not wrecking both cars. I don't think I could have did that in his situation. That is the Rolex 24. You finally caught the dominant car all day. You're only going to get one chance at this. I'm either taking that spot or we're both going into the tire wall.
Yep. Yes. And that door was shut.
Yeah, he slammed that door in his face, but I just think you're at that point. You just got to stay in it and force that door back open.
Yes, you cannot back off. Because like you said, you get one, not necessarily get one shot, but most likely you're getting one good shot.
Yeah.
And
it ended up only being one good shot there because Aiken ended up, I think he may have flat spotted a tire into the International Horseshoe, and that was about all she wrote. And Penske Porsche, the number 7, takes the win, 3rd straight year for that combination, and Felipe Nasser has crossed the finish line to win all 3 years. Penske and that Porsche platform, as far as Daytona is concerned, they're dominant.
Yeah. Because I got the newborn, so I didn't watch any of it. I probably could have, but I didn't. But I clicked on and saw they had won, and I was like, yeah, no surprise. If I was a bet man, I would have bet.
Yes. It was a great race. Penske does pick it up again. They're just so easy on their tires, so they're able to go a lot longer into stints, and they can just make the mediums last with how that Porsche platform works, and a lot of folks are going to have to go to work for that. But in the other categories, the LMP2, CrowdStrike Racing by APR. Now, if I told you the 04 car ended up in the 3-car melee of LMP2 car, or sorry, the 4-car melee of LMP2 cars that wrecked at the very start of the race, where do you think that car would have finished?
I don't know. Just because I didn't really get the opportunity to really watch any of the race, so I don't.
Well, no,
really...
if a car was involved in a crash at the start of a race.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about somebody specific.
No, I was doing a hypothetical here.
I know what you're talking about, and this car right here matches the description of what you're about to tell me.
So the 04 CrowdStrike car that was a part of the 4-car melee on lap 1, turn 1 of the Rolex 24 ends up winning by 28 seconds. The pairing of Toby Sari, Alex Quinn, Malte Jacobson, and George Kurtz crash and win in the Rolex 24, which proves anything can happen in 24 hours.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry, I was muted there for a second. Yeah, I mean, it's a long time. Though, subtract 6 hours of that, so you're really down to 18. But yeah, it's a long race, and if something happens early enough, you absolutely can overcome it. But if it's 23 hours in and you wreck, good luck to you. But it was early enough that absolutely you never stay down and out. You just fight back, and sometimes good things happen.
And it's a lot of luck that they did not get hit harder in that crash, because that car was sideways sitting in the turn 1 runoff afterwards, but they managed to battle back, got helped out by the 6-hour caution and the rotation of the grids just from all the pit stops. But at the end of the day, they still won the race, and they have one hell of a story to tell on how they got those Rolexes. In GTD Pro, Paul Miller Racing, the number 1, Max Hess, Connor D. Felipe, Neil Verhagen, and Dan Harper. First year for that pairing in the BMW for Paul Miller Racing, and they pick up the win in the Rolex 24. Meanwhile, Corvette gets into it with another European sports car, this time Italian, with James Collado and a Ferrari running the Corvette off the track. Corvette Racing not happy after a dominant day, as both cars were up top, or on top of the GT Pro standings for most of the day. Really came to naught. The number 3 car broke a right rear suspension, ended up finishing last, in the 4 car, after getting pushed off the track, could only rally back for 4th.
Yeah. I mean, stuff happens and other people perform better.
Well, last year they got into dramas and they ended up winning the GT Pro Championship. So maybe for, Corvette back-to-back championship loading. We'll see.
Possibly.
And finally, in GTD, the amateur category, Windward Racing, the Mercedes AMG GT3 with Russell Ward, Indy. Lord have mercy, these sports car names.
Don't even bother.
Indy, I'm not even going to bother with that last name. Philip Ellis and Lucas Auer.
I wonder if it's Dante, but the J is just silent.
I'm going to say the J is silent and go Dante. But Windward Racing is just the gold standard in GTD. What can I say? They 2 straight championships, 3rd straight Rolex 24, joining Penske Motorsports as the other 3-time winner on Sunday. They're just really good with that Mercedes platform, and they've gone from a father and son team to the premier customer team for Mercedes. That is the American dream. Really when it comes to getting into motorsports.
Really, just anything, really.
Yeah.
You start out small and find success and just get better and better. I mean, that is the American dream defined.
So with that, the IMSA season is underway, and the endurance swing of the start of the season continues with the second half of the 36 Hours of Florida. With the Mobil 1 Sebring 12 Hour. That race is coming up in 49 days, March 21st, 2026. You can watch all of that race on Peacock and most of the IMSA schedule as well. Cannot wait for the second Once Around the Clock Classic and the second endurance race of the season. So we'll get a good feel of where the pecking order is after that race at the track that rattles suspension pieces and teeth with how worn out it is. That is a rough speedway. I need to get over there and see that place at some point. Eventually, we're going to have some updates for a few more interesting motorsports as the year goes on. Another one of those actually going on right now, Amsoil Championship Snowcross, which is going on. They've just gone through their 3rd week of the season. Jordan Lubell leads the championship by 10 over Daniel Benham, and Emil Haar is 3rd with 187 points. Their next race will be February 14th and 15th in Valcourt, Quebec. I kind of fell in and out of snowmobile racing. They used to have it at the X Games. Unfortunately, they haven't had it in a while, as the X Games has kind of disappeared, really out of sight, out of mind. It's buried on ESPN Plus now. And
we're pretty similar aged. X Games were huge when we were younger.
Oh, when we were growing up, it was your emo teens Super Bowl.
Yes, it would. And while I didn't necessarily fit that description, it was absolutely a Super Bowl for me. Yeah. I loved the X Games. But it is a bummer that kind of, but I mean, when, I think back to the guys and gals that were like big, you know what I mean? We lived through some, like Shaun White snowboarding, you know what I mean? That was like the golden era of snowboarding. And there are better people now because innovation, but they just didn't have the star power. And Tony Hawk, he's 60 now, and just
Chloe Kim, Dave Mirra.
Just you saying the X Games has just got me like running back on like a nostalgia kick right now, just thinking back to my childhood and like the athletes that we as a collective generation grew up idolizing. And obviously we had our motorsports guys, but skateboarding, snowboarding, and all these extreme sports that now if you want to see that type of stuff, just click into the Red Bull social media pages and you'll see all that crazy stuff happening.
You know what I miss the most from the X Games?
What's that?
Street Luge.
Yeah.
Street Luge was my favorite event from the
Was
X
it?
Games, and that whole thing just kind of disappeared. But back in the 90s, when those guys would get on those boards and they're going like 100 miles an hour down that hill, I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
It was. No, I miss those. I really do. I'll have to go find it. But no, I that was like can't miss TV for me.
Yeah. We got to get the X Games back into the modern day, the modern eye. I don't know how we do it, but for all of us who wanted to be extreme sports kids, that show or that series, before they were allowed into the Olympics, that was their Olympics.
Yeah.
And it was so fun to watch.
It really was. Man, that was quite a tangent right there. A good one.
It was a good
appreciate it.
tangent.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just thinking about like skateboarding, like the half pipe, and then snowboarding half pipe. Those were like I would get like upset if I missed those.
Snowboarding half pipe is the most insane thing. They do it on skis now too, by the way, in the Olympics. God bless those. I don't know how more of them don't get injured. I mean, they're all injured, but I don't know how more of them don't get hurt. Like you go 30 feet in the air doing like, they're up to 24 30s now.
Yeah.
In terms of rotation, just
unheard
ridiculous rotation.
Like
at
a
this
2080 was like the biggest thing you could do in like Shaun White's day.
I remember when the 1080 was the big thing, when somebody did that for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, somebody's going to hit a 3600, and at that point,
the world's just going to combust.
Yeah.
That's the final seal of the apocalypse.
They're going to blow the trumpets after that.
Yeah.
So we're going
snowcross season. Yeah, I'm looking. They raced the last 2 weeks while I was on baby, Yeah. So, but I love snowcross. I grew up with it, so I'm excited to be covering it here in an official way. And the nice thing is the races are quick too. So, and they're free on YouTube a couple days later. Or on Flow. I think you have Flow, right?
I have Flow, so I should be able to actually watch the races live. So I'm going to go back and watch them after we get off here.
Yeah. No, it's I watched the first week, just Friday, just the two heats and then the main. I'm going to try to catch back up on the season. There's only 6 days to catch up on, so. But and then just, I mean, right now I think we're just going to cover the Pro Series, the big guys. But I think maybe we could fit in the Pro-Am, the ladies Pro-Am, Pro Lights, without too much extra time commitment.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Snowcross is a lot of fun. I'm seeing the races on here now.
Yeah.
Definitely got to catch that up. We are going to go into the NASCAR, and also we're going to get AMA Supercross into the rotation as well. I just, unfortunately, with the snow and the Rolex 24 at the same time.
How much did you guys end up getting?
I think we got a good 3 to 6 inches, but then we got the ice on top, which has been a pain in the butt.
Ice?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we probably got about 6 to 7. I mean, oh Lord, I'm sorry. 6, 7. That was unintentional. We got somewhere between 5 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
An indeterminate number between 5 and 8. Like all the school districts closed down on Sunday afternoon. They didn't even play around, and the roads are pretty well clear now. But Like we were Sunday. I didn't see a plow truck go by my house once all day. There was a good probably 5 inches of powder on the roads. And I live on not a main road, but like a adjacent main road. It's like a unofficial highway for the people that know the back roads. And so it was quite interesting. The cars kept it clean.
Yeah. Hopefully we will be we won't have to deal with the snow. Allegedly there's another storm coming this weekend, but it looks like it's going to miss us. However, it's going to hit our people down in North Carolina, which is now putting the NASCAR CookOut Clash at Bowman Gray in jeopardy. They're trying to clear the snow. Actually, they've pretty much cleared the snow from this weekend's storm off the track now. Now they're just working on the pit area and the grandstands. But, not the grandstands, sorry, the pit area and the infield. But if more snow does come in over the weekend, that event's not going to go forward, obviously. And it's probably going to be not continued or not rescheduled, because I just don't see them trying to get a non-points race off the ground when everybody wants to get to Daytona.
Yeah, it's good. It's a fun exhibition race, but it's nothing more than that. And I would not, if I was one of the teams, I would not be willing to reschedule it for a later, closer time to Daytona. I would just say, let's call it. But I'm sure there's some sponsorship and TV numbers and yada, 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 and they're going to try to.
I think the issue is if there's more snow, it's not like it's going to be a 1 week thing. It's going to be a while before it's going to be at least another week before they get back going. So they would need to reschedule it now. The issue is going to the schedule and how things look. The race is scheduled for February 1st. 11 days later is the first duel at Daytona. When are you going to have this race? Because at some point, everybody's got to get down to Daytona. And it's a hard... This is tough. Unless you race it on Friday, tell everybody, hey, you need to get here on Friday because that's when we're going to race it.
Yeah. Who knows?
You know it's NASCAR season when we're talking about the weather, by the way.
Yep.
Which surprisingly, and this was a stat I read after the season, last year we did not have a rain postponed race to Monday. Everything ran on the day it was supposed to. Think about it. We got rain.
I am thinking about it.
But it didn't delay the race. And there were a couple of those days where I thought it was going to.
I want to call BS, but I can't think of anything to... I'm going to ask Gemini when we go on our next break.
Nothing ran on a Monday, which, and I'm trying to think about it too. I don't think anything ran. I know stuff ran like hours after it was supposed to. Indy had the rain at the start, but they managed to get that one to the end. Daytona was the one where I thought we were not going to race till Monday, but the rain managed to stop and they dried the track, and that place has lights, so they went and ran the race.
I wonder how many
we had some close
Bob
calls.
Progress got about that.
Might have to ask Bob on it, but nothing.
Wow,
which is rare for NASCAR. Usually we have a 2 or 3 that end up on a Monday.
I can't think of a single season besides what you're telling me last year. Wow. Lord have mercy.
I mean, it wasn't for the lack of trying. And then, and
we're gonna
of
pay
course
for
now
it
we're
this
getting,
year.
Yeah, now we're getting paid back with all the rain coming, or with snow. Not even rain, snow.
Yeah, Mother Nature.
And the problem
said,
with the snow and trying to do a re-race is it's not like rain where it's going to be dry the next day. It's going to take a couple of days to dig out the roads before you can even think of holding a race.
Yeah, depending on how much they get.
And they might get slammed again. Kind of like what we did.
What I would say preferable, though, is they can plow most of it off. And then snow, you get less snow. You get less water in snow. An inch of rain is way different than an inch of snow in terms of how much water is there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could dry the track pretty quick. And then what I would say is the nice thing about snow is usually it dumps on you once and then it's done.
Yeah, but it's how quick.
Whereas rain, like it could rain and then, half an hour later, we're just going to give you a quick little shower just on the way out. Whereas snow doesn't usually do that.
No, usually snow, it dumps on you and then it's gone. And then you got to spend multiple days trying to clean out, which is the problem.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting. NASCAR, Ben Kennedy seems confident they're going to race this weekend, but we'll see. Before we go into some final topics before we wrap up, what's your thoughts on the chase coming back?
I like it. I think as far as what the fans want, it was the closest thing to a I was just running through. Definitely the closest thing the fans were going to get to a win, as far as what NASCAR would be willing to do. We were never going to go back to a full season championship, ever.
Yes.
Australian supercars, please pay attention. This seems like a fair compromise for a playoff system versus what's the word I'm looking for? Consistency. I would have liked to have seen the points leader get a bigger points bonus. I think 50, it's what, 50, 25, right?
The regular season points leader will have a 25-point advantage going into the chase, which
I don't think that's enough.
I think it should be bigger as well.
I think it should be at minimum a 2-race buffer. And make what were you saying?
I was going to say, all right, so you give them 25 in this system, give them 25 plus the 16 that you would have got if you were the regular season champion in the playoffs.
What I would say,
'cause that's a 41-point buffer right there.
What I would say, give the regular season champion 100 points, which is, or the equivalent of 2 races, which is a little less than 100. And then everybody else just starts the same.
Mm-hmm.
So you give, and then basically what it turns into is it is the regular season points championship leaders to lose. Not his to win, but his to lose.
Yeah, if you get that advantage and somebody sneaks you, you just get caught. Oh well.
Yeah. I genuinely think that's how I do not like having, because you're basically saying we want to reward consistency without actually rewarding consistency.
Yes.
But it's a good step in the right direction, because chances are the regular season points leader can probably most likely score the most points over the final 10 weeks. Statistically speaking, obviously.
I mean, they should be able to, but stranger things have happened. Before we get out of here,
Darryl.
Yeah. Hey, 2011 would like to have a chat, but Before we get out of here, first we want to give our thoughts to the Schumacher family, as it sounds like Michael Schumacher, in some capacity, can get up and move around, which is the latest development since his massive skiing accident, which feels like forever and a day ago. So we're glad to hear that.
Yeah,
And
I hope they're true, because they're not
Yes.
confirmed by the family, but at the same time, the family hasn't denied it. So I genuinely hope that that's an accurate development.
the family has also been very quiet on Michael's health.
Yeah.
They do not like discussing his health matters. So they're very private. Hopeful. I don't know if we're going to get a confirmation, but if it's true, that's great to hear. Excuse me. And before we get out of here, the World Rally Championship has a pathway of returning to the United States. They're going to run a test event January 11th through the 17th. According to the FIA's Twitter, the event will focus on whether the race can meet sporting, safety, and operational requirements of the FIA World Rally Championship. The candidate event will be organized in collaboration with the Automobile Competition Committee of the United States. FIA delegates will conduct a thorough inspection and, quote, assessment of every aspect of rally organization, offering the FIA team a chance to engage directly with the United States rally community. If the event is successful, it would become a official event on the 2027 calendar for the World Rally Championship. Now, given current events, a lot of comments are not positive on this development. Sticking plainly to the racing, it would be great to see the WRC back in the United States.
Yeah.
It's been a while since they've been here.
Yeah, I don't see a well, I would say the downside is we don't get approved for an event, but I think it's great, and I hope that it goes well and we get a a permanent event on the calendar again.
I hope it goes well. I'm praying that we've all seen the news, and hopefully in 2027 things will have happened during the election that put certain political themes and thoughts to the back burner. That is the politest way of me saying that without putting this show and probably my job at risk, because it's been hard this year and starting this year. It's been very hard. But that will about do it for this episode of Apex to Asphalt. Next week, hopefully, we'll be discussing the CookOut clash at Bowman Gray Stadium. We'll have some AMA to talk about as well. And we're going to be getting ready for the Daytona 500 and NASCAR going green once again. But hey, for Christopher Lehman, I'm Darryl Kinsey Jr. Chris, any final thoughts?
Yeah. With the 2026 racing season officially kicked off, I am so excited that we're back, Darryl. And just for all of our fine listener friends out there, don't forget to brush your teeth before bed, and have a good night.
Have a good night. We'll see you guys next week.